Hey, it's me, the Rhino, for Survival Skills 101. How do prisoners in jail talk to each other? With their cell phones. Get it? Cell phone? Okay. Alright, well anyway, I want to speak on something that I think is very important in a self-defense situation. I hear this term all the time from martial arts instructors, and the term goes like this. It is better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I'll say it one more time. It's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6 in a self-defense situation. The meaning of this is that it is better to kill somebody than to have somebody kill you. While that's great, I could not disagree with this more. Being in a self-defense situation can be very, very taxing on you emotionally and can take away your freedom and your money as well. And I'm going to go over this, what to expect after you get into some kind of self-defense situation. So you can judge for yourself whether, accurately speaking, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know, I always say that a self-defense situation is like this. If we make a bet, and if we make a bet, if I win, you owe me $100. And if you win, you get to keep your $100. That doesn't sound like a very good bet. Well, that's what self-defense is all about. That is what self-defense, where you have to shoot somebody, is all about. You can never get ahead. You can only keep what you have in a self-defense situation. First of all, killing somebody is emotionally going to really probably make you feel pretty badly. You're going to go through a gamut of emotions, and if you're a religious person, you're going to feel pretty bad about having to take somebody's life. I don't care if that person's in your house, you're out on the street, they're trying to carjack you. Killing somebody, we're told all of our lives that killing somebody is very bad. And you're going to have to deal with that emotionally as well as your family. There is a good possibility that you could get arrested in a self-defense situation. Now, hopefully you don't, but if you do, that's another thing that's going to cause you a lot of grief and heartache. You're probably going to have to post bail, and you're probably going to have to hire an attorney. Now, how much do attorneys cost? Well, you could probably drop about $10,000 on an attorney. So after your shooting, after you have to deal with all this, you might get arrested, have to post bail, and have to get an attorney. Do you think that you're going to probably make the local news on your local TV station? You bet. Some guy, that's you, got into a shootout with somebody else and somebody got killed. They're probably going to use your name. Okay, well great. Now everybody knows that you just killed somebody. So tomorrow when you go to work, or probably in a week when you go to work, you know there's going to be all those people in your work who are going to look at you a little bit differently. Wow, you killed somebody. And there's going to be that anti-gun person in your work who's going to go, oh see, I told you, I knew you were going to kill somebody with that gun, and you did. And now you got to work around that kind of environment. All right, and you know what could happen is you can feel the same way at church. You know, everybody walks up, oh, you know, Rhino, I heard what happened at church, or I heard what happened on the news, and I just wanted to say if there's anything we can do, would please help us. And then the second time they see me, hi, how you doing, Rhino? And they just keep on moving on because they don't know how to talk about it. And you could get alienated, depending on how bad the shooting was, you could get alienated by the people you care most. Could you get fired from your work? Possibly so. Put on a leave of absence, something like that. How about your kids at school? Do you think your kids might have a problem? You know, when other kids are teasing them, going, your daddy's a murderer, he killed somebody the other night, and they have to come home and deal with this. So what I'm saying is, it could be problematic for you, but it could also be problematic with your family, and it can alienate you from your friends as well. Like I said, you could go through long periods of depression. Financially, you could be under some obligations to pay for attorney fees and all of that, and that's another thing that could lead to depression. So that now your spouse doesn't have any money, and you and your spouse don't have any money, and you know fights could erupt. There could be huge problems with arguments, and you know there could be some lack of sexual intimacy going on with you and your spouse because of it. And you might even have sexual problems over it too. Now I know that sounds far-fetched, but when you're feeling depressed over something like this, it could very well be a great possibility. You could also get in a civil lawsuit. You see this all the time on TV. You know, OJ was sued by the family of the persons he killed And I'm not saying that you would be an O.J. Simpson, but you know what? You can get sued at any time. It doesn't really matter. And the problem is that a lot of attorneys can take on a case on a contingency basis and get a percentage of whatever they get from you or your insurance company. So there's a lot of attorneys that will take things on a contingency basis. Your problem is your attorney doesn't work on a contingency fee. He works because you pay him. So that's another thing that you might have a problem with, is the civil lawsuit. Now, just because you have a civil lawsuit, that comes later. The problem is the criminal penalties can be huge too. Let's say that you get, I don't know, something goes wrong and you're convicted for 20 years. You've lost your freedom. You've lost your family who can't see you. You can't see them, but your spouse goes off and is going to get remarried. Your kids don't know who you are. Wow, that's a whole lot of fun. And let me just point out George Zimmerman. You know, whatever you think of that George Zimmerman case, if George Zimmerman were truly in the right, like maybe I feel or you feel, because there's a lot of people who feel that he's in the wrong. But if he were truly in the right, can you see what he had to go through? Months and months of having people tell him that they were going to kill him, spending all of his money on attorney fees. He had to go back to court because the judge was saying, oh, you're hiding money. Ultimately, he ended up in divorce after that. Well, you know what? We could take George Zimmerman out of the way and put you in there. And there's all these problems that come after a shooting. Now, here's my point. Is it better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6? Well, no one wants to die. But you know what? Leading a crappy life afterwards ain't much fun. So the best that we can hope for is we never ever in our entire life have to use self-defense, get in a shooting, or have to do anything bad to another human being. And if you're a person that goes, I can't wait for that time where I'm going to just be able to shoot somebody, you're going to have a real problem, and there's going to be problems after that with all the court proceedings and all the civil proceedings that could come and get you. There you go. Is it better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6? Well, you can make that decision if you want to. Anyway, if you were stuck on an island with Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and a lawyer, and you had a firearm with 2 bullets, who would you shoot first? That's right, you'd shoot the lawyer twice. Anyway, for Survival Skills 101, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe to our channel. I'm the Rhino. Are you prepared to look forward